Yeah, so here we are, it's Friday, and another week's gone by in the Fix 'em Up garage here at, what do I call myself? I call myself Back to the Grind. There was a bunch of grinding happened this week. The body work on this side's pretty well, that's looking pretty good there. Looking pretty good there, up there. Still got to do a bunch of sanding and fixing up around here. I made the interior look a little bit black. Found out, more places where bolts were missing. Yeah. How come there's always bolts missing on these cars? We don't know. Anyhow, had a pretty good week. You'll notice there isn't a windshield in it. What happened to that? Well, anyway, it's gone. And maybe that was last week. Who knows? Yeah, it was a shame about the windshield last week. But I've fixed up all the areas where it needed fixing, like I've seam welded in over there, seam fixed it, and most of the welding is done. I'm sure I'll find more. You always find more, but most of the welding I think is done. So it's just a matter of getting it looking good. Get a coat of paint on it and see how it looks after that, and get the doors. One door here, this door here is pretty good shape. Hardly had to do any work at all. There's a couple of little bends on it. The other door, less good shape, but it's all right. So that would be the passenger door. It only had a couple of little dents in it. The windows and all work good in it, so everything's good. Anyway, stick around. You'll see everything that happened. The car is looking all right, coming along. Yeah, so last week was all about sanding. So there's a whole bunch more sanding going to happen this week. I won't bore you with it all. I'll just show you results. When I was cleaning off here, I cleaned the paint off this portion here. And the same, I'm going to clean the paint off this portion here right away. So that will require this bit of body putty here came over onto the paintwork. So I'll clean that off, and then I'll put some new Bondo there. I'll put some new Bondo in here, and then get it flattened out nicely. So that'll be the chore for right now. Yeah, it's great to have fans, so here you go. This showed up in the mail here. So what stays out there must stay out there. Anyhow, but usually I am about 180 degrees out or so. Yeah, so while I'm at it, I figure I better fix up the, whatever you call that, over here. And I'll turn on the light here. So in here, that's where the fender hooks on to the, like the outer fender is bolted on to here, right there. I've got one bolt just sort of holding it, not even snug there, and there's another 3 bolts to go in. They're all number M6 bolts. I have a whole bunch of 1/4-inch bolts around that are right length, but so I rethread them to M6. There now, whoever takes this apart next, if there ever is, will be pissed off at me because there's 4 bolts in here, and 3 of them are a 7/16 head, and one of them, 1, 2, 3 are 7/16 head, and one right here is a 10mm head. They'll be wondering, what the hell did the last guy do? Which is what I do all the time here, but I guess that's how it is. Something else now I've discovered here. So I've got this body line here looking pretty nice. Fits really nice. A little bit of a wonky down here, but I think I can straighten that out with a bit of hammer work. Needs a bit of welding there too. Then this was here, that one there, and that were both brazed on. So there's another bit of brazing here, and a bit of brazing there. Who knows when, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll re-weld this around this area. You can't weld on where it's brazed, but I can weld all around here. and get it to stick on there better. But here, see that little gap right there, about a 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch. Well, over here on this side, again, brazed and brazed, so they obviously worked on this. But this side here, it comes in right underneath. But that, I don't know if that's a difference in the fender over here. Yeah, because it's not the same fender, eh? Seems to dip in a bit more. But the this part here, there's about a finger length underneath here before it hits this side here. So there should be, this should come out to about here somewhere, but it doesn't. And I don't think it ever will. They had it welded here before, so I went ahead and welded it on there. I think I better leave it as be, or else it'll be worse than it is now. So I'll get this welded back on here. The trim will cover that because of this black piece of trim that goes all the way around there. Whoops, what am I pointing at? The trim will cover it because there's a black piece of trim that comes all the way around here. And I certainly didn't notice any problem with it before I took the trim off. So I'll get that welded and then carry on. Yeah, so there now, this little bit here is welded up on there, that little bit's welded up. This was like, had been grinded on too much sometime. I don't know if it was me or somebody else, but anyway, it was pointing out like that, so I pushed it, cut it in here, pushed it back into the right angle, and then put a weld on there to hold it all together. And that looks pretty good there now. So, I'll be happy with that for now. Yeah, this corner here, a little bit better than that corner because this is the factory corner. There you go. Yeah, so here I am at the windshield, right? Well, what used to be a windshield. Anyway, so in here, along this edge here, oh, here you go. Where am I? This is the passenger side here right now we're talking about. There's a bunch of pitting in here. That's that hole there. I could actually fill that hole in because it's supposed to be for the windshield wiper on a British side, like a drive on the other side car. And so easy to take this out up to about here, put a new piece of metal in there, and it's, there's a crown going that way, but I can make that fit because I'll just do it right to this edge here, because this is the edge where it's like it's going bad in a couple of spots, but I think I can make that work all right there. Then over on the other side, now I wondered why there was a gouge in the trim, because there's a gouge in here from when it was in whatever accident it was in. So I've got to figure out how to take this piece of trim here off. I'll get that figured out, and then I'll actually I'll cut that out and fix that, because that's a whammo. I've been out of whammos for a long time. All the whammos were back there and up here, right to here. And I knew there was some welding done right in here. So then I have to fix this bit here. It's only a very small bit. That part there is actually all right. I think that's the way it's supposed to look, is like that, from the factory. And then in here, same old thing with the pitting. So this side here, that's where I don't want to screw up that hole right there, because that's where the windshield wiper for the driver's side comes through. So I'll cut it out. I'll likely cut out a little chunk right here. Don't know if I even have to do anything about that. Maybe I'll take a look. There's like a pit there, a pit there, a pit there, and a pit there. I might be able to drill them out and just put plugs in them for starters. There's a pretty good hole here, but same thing, it's not like it doesn't go very far. In here, there's some pretty good pitting up in here, so perhaps I'll do some cutting in there. So over there, got to cut that out. And then here, got to cut this out. This hole here doesn't matter. I can cover that hole. But the good news is that this back plate for the windshield, except for this one area right here, is all in really good shape and no rust on it. And I'm very surprised by that. Up around the top, a little bit of, there's a hole or two right around here. Must have been pooling water there. So I'll fix that. But I think I can just actually drill that and put a plug there and then grind it down and be all right. So, not so bad. Not so bad at all. I'll fix this. Last bit of whammo. Anyhow, that's it for today. I'll come back at it tomorrow. I did finish cleaning off the front here, and I just put a little bit of Bondo right there. Finish that bit up there, cleaning it off mostly, but I got to get into those things there. And I took off the little things for the windshield whopper fluid to go through. So, looks pretty good. That front corner looks all right now. That front corner looks all right, so I'm happy. I did put some Bondo on here, but I never ever did get to sand it off. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, so here I am, back again. Now this bit in here, that's all pitted up like that. On top of this, there's another layer of like a cowling that goes over the top of this later. But I think I will cut this off here, along here. Where am I? Cut it off here, along here. Put a new piece of metal all the way along that chunk there and get rid of all this pitting. And I'll do the same over there and get rid of that pitting over there. But I want to leave this inner channel if I can. There's one little pinhole right there. But for the most part, that inner channel I think is okay. I'll have a look at the back side of it after I get it all apart and then decide. Yeah, there now I've cut that off of there. It just sort of fits in like this right here. So I'm going to take this piece of metal that I cut out. I'm going to trace it on a piece of metal and see if I can make one to fit right back in there. It's got a little bit of a crown to it just going this way here. There doesn't seem to be anything, a tiny bit of a crown going that way too, but I'm pretty sure it'll be all right. The way it comes out, I'll just get it traced out, see if I can cut that same thing. Yeah, what I did was I just clamped this piece that I cut off, I clamped it onto a piece of steel and then cut along the edge. I'll show you back here. I had it in the... I find the brake is good for holding onto steel when I want to. So it was clamped right onto here. So I cut that edge just by running the blade of the grinder along next to the edge I wanted. Now I'll just cut the back edge here. That's the last bit I have to cut out right there, and a little bit on that edge there. And then I'll see if it fits. We can always hope. Yeah, so there, that's cut out along the edges. There's the new piece on that side, and the old piece on that side. So I'll take it over and see if it'll actually fit in the hole. Yeah, so the shape is right, and it's just got to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to cut it again along this edge here, and leave this a little bit wider down here, and I'll just grind this away later to fit. And I'll put a little bit extra room down at this edge, cut this edge along that line, then I should be pretty close to right. Yeah, here I am all over the place with it. Oh dear, it's stuck in the vise the wrong way. Okay, here, get that out of there. So here, now what I did was I had it lined up. Can you see that little difference in the line there? I'll take my glove off so you can see my finger. I had it lined up on this edge here where my fingernail is, and then I cut it along that edge. So now I've moved it so that it's that much distance, like 1/8 of an inch there, all the way along. And now I'm going to cut along this edge here, and that should make it so that I've got enough extra space in there that it won't take too much trimming to make it work. Yeah, there, I got it trimmed along that edge, just with the grinder and Oh, excuse me. Just with the grinder along this edge here, I did it like holding it against the edge of the one piece of metal onto the next. This part here, I'll use on the other side. Yeah, there we go. That's the kind of fit that I was hoping to get. Very tight along this edge because there's some extra, like it's weak up here. I want to be able to make sure I can put some extra weld in there, and then I'll round that edge out afterwards. But I don't want to ruin the factory edge on that because that's where the windshield sits. Anyhow, I'll see what I can do. There, I think that's about as good as I'm ever going to get. It seems to be pretty tight here, pretty tight down here. Tight everywhere, a little bit of a gap right there that hopefully I can fill that in with a bit of weld. And at the worst, I'll pull it out again and do it like with this edge here somehow on there. Think about that. Yeah, so here now I'm going along this top edge, and it's a little bit thin, the metal up here, so I've turned the machine down. So it's at 24 gauge, 140 feet per second or whatever that means, and just on the middle of that, so that it doesn't burn through quite as fast and easy, and I can take my time and weld that along there and without too many burn throughs. Then I'll turn the heat back up to normal to do this part around here because the metal is all good down here. And that sits in there pretty nice. It fits well. I'm happy. Yeah, there we go. This is all, that seam is all welded up now, hot. Take quite a bit of grinding to get that smoothed off again the way I like it, but it should look pretty good at the end. Now I can turn the heat back up, and I'll just go along this edge here at my normal heat, which is, where am I here? This one. 20 gauge, 210. That's my normal sort of setting on it. And then you also set your wire size on this thing here, like I've got it set for 6 millimeters, 0.6 millimeters or 0.23 of an inch. There's that button. But you can have it at like 0.8 millimeters of 30th of an inch, or you can put it up to 0.9 millimeters or 35th of an inch. But the wire I have in it is a 6 millimeter stuff, 0.6 millimeter. Yeah, so there, that's welded into place. I'll let it cool off for a little bit, and then I'll give it a grind. So over on the other side here, here's this is the original piece that I cut out, and it kind of needs, like, it's pitted all the way through here and then right down into here, so I'm going to put it right about there. Oops. Yeah, right about there. Then I'll put a spot weld on it and just then do the cut and button business on it for along that edge there. See how that works out. I'll figure it out. Yeah, there it is. It's all ready to cut now. Now, often I say spot weld, but I really should say tack weld, because that's a tack weld, tack weld, tack weld. And often when I say spot weld, I should be talking plug weld because you're filling a hole, but oh well. Maybe I'll put a dictionary underneath my YouTubes, eh? Yeah, so Fitzy says, don't let your grinding get ahead of you. So mostly that's pretty good. I think there's a little pinhole right about here. And maybe a little bit of a thing right there. I can fill those. Another one there, maybe four or five pinholes to do along this edge. But I've got this edge nice and smooth here again so that it'll take the windshield. And then this part here, this seam down here, I'm not really too worried about. I'll put some seam filler on that for one thing. And then the cowling is going to go over the top of that. But this one here has got to be pretty clean. I'll put a small, like a light coat of seam filler on that to keep the water out of it. Then I'll go over and do that other side. Yeah, now with this one here, I've cut this seam along here, but the to make it all fit together, and to get that piece out from underneath, I'll have to make it so I just cut this whole thing out, and then I'll cut the whole thing out, and then I'll cut these welds off of it. Then I'll pull this out, pull the piece from underneath out. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit of twisting, and that'll come out of there. There's the top piece off, right? A little bit of hold right there, a little bit of hold right there. I'll just clip them out with the grinder, and hopefully that'll all work for me. Anyway, clip them out and I'll pull that out of there. Yeah, there, that's a pretty good fit. It's tight to the bottom here. I'll make it tight to the top and then start welding on it. But first I want to just clean this off down here a little bit so it'll weld easier. So I'll do that. So this bad bit here, like even though it's pitted pretty badly up here, it wasn't too bad through. So I think I'm okay with this little bit here. I'm not going to get too serious about this. I might drill a couple of these little ones. Like there's one there, I might drill a hole through that. And put a couple of little plugs in there. Same thing out here. There's one here and these two here. I'll drill a hole in them and put a plug through that, and that'll cure that. So I'll make a bunch of plugs. Then this little bit here I've got to weld in on the window rail, for a better word. And that thing there, I don't know what I'll do there yet for sure. I might just put a little piece in there. See if I can make a little piece that'll just fit in there nice. I'll think about that. Yeah, there we go. There's a good start. And now I'll go along this edge here, do this up with a lower power, and then I'll turn up the power to go down in here. Yeah, there, it's all welded in along the top seam here. But I got down into this little hole where the windshield wiper comes through, and it got away in a burnout there, so I'll have to think about that a bit. Yeah, there it is. Now that's welded in all the way around. So there's that side over there. Whoops, that side over there was bad. This side here was bad, and that's the whole windshield. Now right up here, I filled in a couple of holes up here while I was at it. Haven't done this bit here yet. I'll get to that. I filled in a little hole right there. So, it seems to be holding together all right. Yeah, there's most of that thing done. Still have to fill in that little tiny bit of a ridge there. But down below here where there used to be a hole there. Used to look, see icon. Right there, where that used to be a hole like that, right here. Where am I? Yeah, right here. Now I couldn't find any reason for that hole, so I didn't put one in there. And then this thing here, I made a little lip that went like that to fit on here, and another piece down here, and then the two lips come together there. And then I put a spot weld or a plug weld in there to hold them together tight. Now tomorrow I'll finish up that little bit of welding there and kind of clean that stuff up a bit if I can, so the window will fit. Then I also fixed up these, there was a couple of rust spots up here, one here, can't find them anymore, one here maybe, somewhere along there. So I fixed them up while I was on it. And a couple of holes right in here that I fixed up while I was on it. So I think it's in pretty good shape now, except for filling in that little bit of a lip there, and that'll be tomorrow. Yeah, so I got that piece of trim off here. I'll show you on the other side how I did it, because I didn't know if it would come off or not, but it does. It just snaps on there. So I used this thing here, and I started at the bottom and just worked it till I heard it coming apart, eh? But this one here might be on tighter. by the top. There, you hear that snap? That means it's coming apart. So it'll come off. It's just held on right in the back of this thing here. See, that'll come off there now. Work it from one end or the other and it'll eventually come off. Anyhow, I'll get it off of here and I'll show you. Yeah, there we go, it's off. So that just, I started at the top. You see there's this little clippy thing in here that just goes on like that, and then it snaps on to that part there. You just push it on with a rubber hammer or something when you get it, when you want to put it back on. So I'll take it off here, and the other side needs to be cleaned up. This side here, well, I'll clean that up, and looks like I'm getting all this stuff out of the way so I can paint the damn thing too, eh? So it might as well all be green, eh? So there, in my pile of stuff, I'll put that away in the long-term storage here soon. Now this thing here, in that accident that I've been chasing forever, this might be the last bit I have to chase. So I'll just cut that out of there and see about putting a new piece in. I wonder if I could pull that dent with my dent puller thing. I'll check that out. Maybe it'll be a better way to fix it. Yeah, here's my little tool. So I've got a piece of 1/4 inch steel here with a nut welded on it, and then underneath it I've got a screw, and I screw it right, I drill a little hole and screw it right into the middle of the dent. Then I got you got your slide hammer. Let me just get this rigged up. Then you screw your slide hammer into that little nut they have there, and then bring it back and give it a couple of whacks. I think one whack is good for that. Feels like it came out pretty good. So I don't want to, I have to be fairly careful about taking the slide hammer out now. There. So to take the slide hammer out, I'll take that little nut off there. See, I've got this little screw in here that just through the center of it. There, now see that? I did it in 3 spots. One here, one here, and one here. And it's got that dent pretty well pulled out. In fact, it's all pulled out. A little bit right there still. But I don't think I'll get much better than what it is now. So I'll just take the flashing hammer and I'll just flatten that out a bit, and then I'll make it fill those holes. And with weld those holes in. And then a little bit of body filler. A little tiny bit of body filler doesn't hurt on that. There we go. In fact, it'll likely be that gray stuff over the weld, so that'll be good. So that'll be all right. I'm happy with that. I'll show you after I clean it up a bit. Yeah, there, it's cleaned up a bit there now. So what I'll do is I'll weld these holes shut, and then I'll hit it with the grinder a bit. Little tiny dent right in there. I don't think I want to drill another hole in it. I suppose I could. I'll drill one more hole and just see if I can pull that out. There, hole number 4. So that seemed to get it pulled out pretty good. There's a little tiny bit there, but I'll weld them up, then I'll grind it down and see how it looks after that. There we go. Doesn't even hardly need any body filler. It came out pretty nice. A little bit of a tiny little lip right there that I'll put some of that metal to metal stuff on there and grind it out smooth, and then it'll look like new. How do you like that? That's nice. I'm happy with that bit. Yeah, so I took my pointy hammer to this bit right here. So it looks like from here across here, I'll put a little piece in there. See if I can make that work out all right. And then I think I'm done because I pointy hammered this one, and I pointy hammered that one. It wouldn't go through. Might be a little bit right there, it should get. So I'll take the welder to these two here and see what happens. Yeah, so I put a little patch in here now, and now I've turned the heat down so it's not too hot for this stuff here that's pretty thin. And I'll weld along there, then I'll turn the heat back up and get this stuff down here done. That'll be good. Yeah, there you go. That's came out pretty nice too. So this is all, I'm happy with all this. It's repaired in here, repaired down there, repaired down underneath here, repaired all the way around here. I'm going to take my hole saw to this and just make sure I get that rounded out correctly so that the windshield whopper thing will fit through there. And then on the other side, it's all done over there. There might be a pinhole. I thought I saw a pinhole. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Right there, maybe. No, I don't think there is. It's just the way it is. So then, that's all looking good. And the rest of the windshield around the top here looks good. I grinded off anything that looked like it was pitting a bit. This stuff in here I don't have to worry about. So I think we're okay. There you go. Yeah, now, what was I doing? I did a bunch of work up around here. There was a hole there that I forgot to fill a long time ago. And then there was a hole there that I had to make the other side match this side, drainage hole. So then I cleaned it up and did some Bondo up there. Have to wait until I have some more of that seam filler stuff before I finish this thing here. So I did some Bondo on there, letting it dry. Did some Bondo on this side. Over here, I'm letting it dry. And then take a look at the door. Well, now, this door is the one that came from another car somewhere along the way, because it's that red color. Partly red color. They threw some green on it. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape. I don't think there's anything seriously wrong with it. I'll clean it off some and just see. Like even, I don't see anything bad down here. That's a surprise. Because usually I'm disappointed, right? But no, looks pretty good. It's got the tag from the car that it came off of, which is not this car. So I'm going to pull that out of there so there's no confusion in the future. And then I'll see if I can get the window out of it so I don't break that. I don't think I'll be able to, from the way Henry was doing stuff, and I watched him on Henry's garage, he wasn't able to get that side window off of there, so I'm not going to fight with that too much. A couple little bolts there, I don't know what they hold on, but I should be able to get this mechanism out of here, I hope, and maybe get the window out of there. We'll just see. Yeah, here we are. So I did some grinding on it just to see what's underneath. So of course there was 1/8 of an inch of Bondo on there or more, because there were a couple of little rust spots coming through. But I think this door is in the realm of, if it ain't broke, let it be. So I'll see if I can get the door handle off it. I'm going to leave the window in it. It seems to work fine. And I'll clean up this stuff down here and fix anything down here that needs fixing. There's like little spot here, spot here, spot here, spot there, spot there. A couple of little spots here, but overall, it's in excellent shape. Anyway, so I'll pull out the other door and have a look at that and see what the verdict is on that one. Here's the passenger door, and it also looks in good shape. There's no rusting along here, so I think I'm lucky. I'll just see it. I'll grind off a bit of the paint on the other side and have a look. Yeah, so there it is at the back here. There's a little bit of spotting here, needs fixing. Otherwise in pretty good shape, but there's Bondo up in here where there is there's a dent there from accident damage. I don't know if I can reach in there. I'd like to can reach in there and pound that out, make it smoother. We'll see what I can do. But otherwise, same old thing. It's not broke, so don't screw with it. I'll see if I can get the door handle off both of them.
I'll leave the windows in them and see if I can get them all looking nice again. But that's enough for today. It's time to go and cook some supper. You can't tell by the dark anymore because it's still light outside. Anyway, there we are. See you later.
There, you don't often see that table cleaned off like that. So I'm going to put this door up on there. I got the car way up out of the way so I don't bang my head on stuff, and I got room to work. I'll see what I can do about this door. Yeah, there's the door handle out of it. It came through this hole here with the window all the way up. Then these two things here, there's this creates a squeeze on it from the other side, so I'll show you that. Hang on. So these things here have lock nuts on them. I was putting it all together here so I won't lose any pieces, or try to remember where the hell they go, eh? So this piece here, this piece goes in from the other side, right? Like that. And then this piece here goes on and holds it in tight with these nuts. Then this part here, you can see that there's this little spring fell on the ground. Whoops, that little spring fell on the ground when I was doing it all. But that's all held together by this. There's a bit of a pillar bolt in there, and it gets that little thing on it. Where is it? Can you see that? Yeah, that part there goes onto it, and then when you pull the handle, which I'll pull this handle here, then it makes that thing move. And so this handle here makes it move down in here, which opens this right here somehow or other. Anyway, and that one there does it from the inside. So I'll just put it all together and put it aside until after the door is painted. So I'm going to see if I can lubricate the windows so they'll roll up and down. That's a 1 1/8 inch nut on that thing there to make it go up and down. And so I'll see if I can lubricate the windows so they go up and down easily. Then I'll try and get this rubber on that side there, try and get that off somehow. And if I can't, well, I'll tape it off for painting. Yeah, and this thing here, it's got, like, there's a little pole that comes into that, and it's got one of these clippy things on it to make that happen, and that's that pole right there. Can't honestly say I know what that's for, but I guess it's got to be there for, maybe it's part of the lock, I think. Yeah, it is, because that's where the key goes in, right? So that's part of the locking mechanism. So it would actuate, yeah, see when this one, oops, the whole thing's moved. When I move the locky thing up and down, that also moves. So that's part of the lock assembly. So I'll just make sure I don't lose this thing. And likely, well, the key might fit on this side. Now I don't see the point in locking a car with a fabric roof, but I guess that's the way it is. Yeah, there you go. Window goes up and down easily. There's my little wrench here. Down it goes. All the way, and then it goes up. All the way. Comes up tight, right to the top, so I'm going to call that okay for me. So I'm going to go on the, flip the door over now and have a look at the, where it's bent down here. So I'll leave the window up all the way while I do that. Yeah, so here's that little bit of a bend in there. I think I can likely drill that and then put my slide hammer on that and make that pretty good and straight, so it wouldn't take too much body filler to make it right. Little indent here, indent here, indent there, maybe 3 or 4 holes in there. So first I'll just take I'll get my grinder and take all the paint off of here and have a look and see how it is. Now that's pretty well got the paint off of it. That takes a little while. So there's a dent right here, got whammed. I'll fix that somehow. And there's these little dents down here, so I'll fix them. A couple of spots right here that could use a little bit of, I'll put some weld in there and see what happens. If it blows through, then I'll do something about it. Yeah, there we are. So that worked. The dent is, you can still feel a little bit here. It'll take a tiny bit of fill in there to make it right, but it's out for the most part. The dents down here, I think I've got them kind of pulled out for the most part too. Take a little bit of fill in there to make it just right. So I'll go ahead and I'll weld those holes up. Then I'll see what I can do about this bit here. I think it's okay, really. I think it's just a little bit of blemish on the surface there. And nothing on the back side that feels bad. So I'm lucky on the doors. Uh-oh. So anyway, that one there. These ones here, they all filled in really nicely. And a little bit of body fill to make that smooth. But this one here, it kind of blew through on me, so I'll just put a plug in there and fix it. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to figure out if you're better off before or after, but I think it's a little bit better off after. There's still a bit of a dent there, but I'll fill it in, at least I know what's there. Down here I fixed this up. There was just starting to rust through there, so I patched it up with a bit of welding on it, and it seems to come out pretty nice now. And then down in here, there was 3 or 4 holes that I drilled. I don't know where they drilled them anymore. Somewhere in there. And so there, that'll be fine. Yeah, there we go. That's coat number 1 on there. And sand it off. Now low spot here, low spot here. I'll fix them up right now. I'm just going to mix up another batch of that stuff. Little low spot in right here. Low spot in here, low spot there, and a couple of little dots up here that I'll just fill in as I'm going along. Here I am, I'm waiting for paint to dry, right? Or actually just waiting for this stuff here to dry enough to be able to work on it. That's coat number 2 on there. So I went and I decided I'd clean out the interior here. Yeah, the interior, such as it may be. And I took the grinder and just ground off all the high points on that coat of stuff there. Now I'm not going to go much farther with that. I'm just going to paint it black. All that stuff I'll paint black, and then I have some covering stuff coming in the mail somewhere, and it'll go on top of that, like soundproofing. But down over here, right there, that's the seat carrier, and it's got some pretty bad pitting around there. So I'm going to lift up the car and just see what it looks like from underneath and whether I should do something about it, because when you press on there you get a little bit of action. I guess I'll lift up the car and take a look. Yeah, here I am underneath, and can you see that bit in there? Right there. Like can't press through anywhere here, but on the top it looks kind of yucky. Otherwise, though, it looks okay. Now that's a conundrum. I'll go up on top and just see what it looks like from there then. What I might do is just cut out this. I can see where I'd have to cut it. I'd cut it here and here, here and here. Just take that piece and, whoops, sorry. Cut it here and here and here and here, and then take that piece, which is the mounting for the seat, and just remount that on another piece and see if that would make things happen. We'll see about that. Yeah, right here, like it's rusted through right there. this end here, I think it's okay. It's plenty strong there. But if I replace the metal from here along to about here, that would likely be a good thing to do. So I watched Henry. Henry did this. And what he did, and it's a good idea, is he put a piece of metal on here, clean coat it, 4 spots, drilled a hole up in the middle underneath, and that would be the center for that hole there, for that thing. Then cut the piece out here, welded that onto it in the right spot, and then put it back in. I think that makes it pretty simple to get everything lined up right again. So that's likely what I'll do. Thanks again, Henry. Yeah, there we go. So I cut a piece of metal, and it's 4 by 10 inches long, 4 inches wide, 10 inches long. And then I'm going to, what am I doing? Jesus, I forget everything. So I've got a Cleco in there, this Cleco things. I'll go underneath and just see if I can drill up from underneath. See what's happening down there. Yeah, so there, this piece of metal is all set to go. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to cut out that, what'll I do? I'll likely just do the old cut and butt along here. Well, I don't want to do that. Can't do that. Let me think about this a minute. Yeah, so I'll go and I'll cut this edge and I'll cut this edge to here. Then I'll take it apart, take everything apart, and cut out here to here somewhere, leaving that edge over. Now I've put in 2 extra holes here that go into the carrier below that will have to come back onto it, and this hole here is the one where the bolt goes through for the seat. Anyway, I think I got it figured in my mind. I'll show you when I get it going. Yeah, so there you go. So I've got this cut out of there, right? And then here's the piece that came out of it, and it's got that support bit underneath. Now I've got these 2 holes here drilled into it. That'll be that hole and that hole, and then that hole there will be the hole that the bolt goes in. So now I got to get it off of this old piece of metal. I'll see what I can do about that. Yeah, it's a good thing I took it apart because you can see air through there, eh? Anyway, I'll get it off this old piece of metal and then see if I can get it onto that piece of metal. First thing, I'll make that hole there big enough. I'll just have to widen that out. Yeah, so getting that, all I use is like I've got an old wood chisel here that I keep sharpening up, but it's got a nice sharp point, and it's good for getting these spot welds split apart. Just to take a hammer to it, like that one came out fairly easy. Then I'll put it on get it on the grinder and clean it up after. There it is, that's off of there. Nothing wrong with that piece of metal. This one here has seen better days. So I'll clean that off and I'll put in, it's got 4 spot welds in there, so I'll put 4 spot welds in again and get that going. There we go. Yeah, so there now, it's all set to go. I've got it Clecoed on there, and then the bolt for the seat goes in, and that'll go in there, so I'll just leave that till I finish welding. And then I'll spot weld here, pull the Clecos, and then get it set up in there and do the old button cut business. Yeah, here we go. I'll set it up so you can watch this spot welding business. Or plug welding, I guess is the right word for that. So I've got this pair of pliers on here holding it tight to the other side, eh? Now that's a good start, and I'll come back and just fill it in a bit more once I get the other ones done. Get the pliers out of the way. There it is. So you can see there's pretty good penetration coming through that tube. And that'll be that. There we go. That's now I've got the cuts made here and along there. So I'll just, butt weld that a few spots, tack welds along here, right? Tack welds along there. The gap's a bit wide there, but I guess I'll live with it. And then I'll cut this out. I'll take the Kikos out, then I'll cut this and cut that. Get the piece from underneath there. There's be 2 pieces yet to come. Okay. Yeah, so there now, that one I've got tack welded. There's the piece that came out from underneath the little kinko holes in it. And here's a piece from this end, the little kinko holes in it. I guess it was like that, eh? And that metal looks pretty good up here, it's all right. This one here, I'm just going to let that be because I think it's fine there. There's enough structure in there that'll hold it together. This one here was a little bit weak. The other side is all really good. So, just this one to do. I'll go ahead and weld that in around there and then clean it up and show you when I'm done. Yeah, there you go. That's all welded in there now. All the way around. So I'll grind it off. It's pretty hot still. But I'll grind it off and then we'll carry on. Yeah, there you go. Have some more of that seam filler stuff, like that stuff there, on order. So when it gets here, I'll do some seam filling on it. And that'll be that. That's good for that's solid, that's right. I like it. There, that door is pretty near ready. Feeling pretty smooth. Might use a little bit more right there. This side here, this is looking pretty good. Feels good. So I think it's all right. It actually feels good all over. I will do a little bit more right there. Anyway, I'm going to move this door off and put the other door up. Yeah, there we go. Door number 2. This is the one that's from another car. It was a red car. Anyway, door number 2 is, the window works very well. Like you can just wind the window up and down, no sweat. So I'll get the door handle out again and then take a look at what I need to do for any repairs. So far it looks pretty good. Like there's nothing on this side here that looks bad. So I think I'm lucky with the doors so far. Yeah, so I got the door handle out of here now and the window's down. And then this piece of rubber here, which I want to get out of here so I can paint that properly, it's held in by these clippy things. So you can take one of these little tools from my major toolkit there, and it's sort of just, it's a two-handed operation, but you can dig in there and get that clippy thing out of there. There's one here that I can get without too much trouble. Just push it down a bit, and when it gets that far, then you can grab it with a pair of little pliers, I think. Yeah, there it is, number 2. I got them out of the other side. This one here is kind of hidden underneath there. I might use a screwdriver to get it started and then use the plastic thing. It's a tight fit, that one. There we are. Yeah, so once you get it started, then they come off pretty easy. Yeah, famous last words, hey? Once you get it started, they come off. There we go. Just snap out of there. There's 3. There's one here, and one close to the end there. There was one on the other side. Anyhow, when I got to the other end, I was able to pull them all down this way. Whoops, without wrecking anything. I can't pull it down yet. But the last one I was able to pull it down and move it down here, so I'll try that. Yeah, so when the last one is on there, you can just sort of pull it along. And then you can remove it down here where it's easier to get it off. Anyhow, that would be that. Yeah, so the other door was in actually better shape on the outside than this one. It's got a few pitting down here, so I'll have to just cut those little bits out and put a patch in. One there, one there, one there. Likely I can just drill. Can't really drill on that. So I'll cut them out and see what I can do. Then up here, looks like might be some Bondo here. Not really sure what's going on with that. Whoops, it's gonna be right here. But I'll do that tomorrow. I'll take the whatever you call that, the paint off the outside of it. Yeah, so Canada Post brought this along today. Another 2 cans of this stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix up a batch and put it over here right here where I fixed this up on the whatever you call that, this post here. And then also right in there where I fixed up the floorboard where the, whatever you call that thing goes into it, the seat mount goes in. Then I'll give that another, I gave it a quick coat of black just to keep the metal covered up. I don't know, might paint it back to green, or I might just make all the interior stuff black. Likely black would look alright if I just did that. So that's likely what I'll do. Anyhow, I'll get that covered up first, and I think there's another spot that needs some of that metal to metal stuff. Oh yeah, underneath on the other side there. So I'll do that. Yeah, there we go. I did that right here, and then that one in there that I welded on there yesterday. I'll let that stuff dry and I'll give it a little bit of a, I'll have to do some serious sanding on this to make it look right. But I guess I have to do in here too. I forgot about that. So I'll get this later. I'm going to do paint removal on this door here, some welding here, and then when I mix up another batch, I'll do that stuff there. Yeah, there it's all sort of cleaned off. Now there's a dent right here. Don't know what would have caused that, but something did. And there's another dent right here. Looks like a baseball hit it. Little dent there, and a little dent there, and a couple over here. Otherwise, it's pretty good shape, except for needs a couple of welding repairs down here. So from here to here, I'll just cut out those little bits and replace them with metal. Yeah, if I can get my drill to drill that out, I just put the plug in there. See what'll happen. Yeah, so I cut out the little bits where it was pitted, here and here. I was thinking of taking that lip right off there, but I don't think I will. This part underneath here is rusty, but it's pretty solid, except for right there, and I'll fix that from the other side, I think. So I'll cut a piece and put it in here. I'll cut a piece and I'll put it in here, and I'll paint that in there black first. It was just full of crud and gathering moisture down there. There's supposed to be some water vents here somewhere, one right here. That would be why it's not rusted right there, because that water vent's open. One right here. Another one right here. So those are open, and that's keeping it clear in there. So I'll see if I can get something in there to clean that out. And but I'll just paint this up, put a patch on there, and that'll be good. Yeah, so I'll do the back side first. There's a little bit of a pinhole there, but I can just fill that, and it'll be all right. Then this piece here, kind of a complex piece. It's got like that little shoulder on there, a circular little shoulder. So I'll see if I can make that up somehow. Yeah, there I found a piece of steel. like with the right radius on it. So I'm going to pound this down onto that radius, and then I'll cut this edge out right here. Then I'll get the angled pieces put in there. I might have to take 2 parts just to make this little tiny piece. There's kind of what it should be right there. It's got that little bit of a body line to it, and it sort of fades to this side a little bit. That's more accidental than good management there. Now I'll just cut out I'll try and trim it off to fit in there, and then I'll fill in those extra little, I'll try and trim it to fit in there, and then I'll fill in those little extra bits there. Reasonably happy with that. So what I did, I have this piece of steel I use it for stuff, and I just put it behind. I traced on with a marker where I wanted well, here's what I did. Hang on. I'll get it out. So I found this piece of steel that has the right radius on it. Luckily you can find a pipe or something like that or anything, but then I traced on where I wanted to have the go around on it, right? Like that. Then I'll go over to the vise. So I'm over at the vise, and I've got that piece of steel back here. And then I just started doing this. And you see how that is coming out on the piece of steel there. If you just keep on it going. Then after a while, I cut these little divots in it so that it would bend easily with that amount of a lip, and then when it was all done, I just bent them back with a pair of pliers, took them over to the anvil and straightened them out, and that's what happened. So now I'll see if I can make this piece fit into here. That's quite a little bit of work for just one little tiny piece like that, eh? There, I'm going to call that a fit because it's about as good as I'm going to get, I think. And it looks all right to me. So that's good. So I'll weld that in, then I'll go flip it over and I'll fix the other side where I cut holes in it there. Yeah, there it looked a bit better before I started welding, but it's sort of got the shape on there and it seems to fit all right, so I'm a happy guy. Yeah, so there now I've got this. That's about the 3rd, 4th time around there, letting it cool off. That's the 2nd time around on that one, letting it cool off. So that'll come out all right, I hope. And then we'll, I'll put some of that metal to metal stuff on it, and that'll seal it up good. Oh, there it is, the big picture. And there it is, the little picture. So that's done. Now, I think I'll mix up a batch of stuff and just put a batch of stuff on there and a little bit on the back side. Yeah, there we are. New lips. Again, new lips. New seam filler all the way along there. And then seam filler on these ones here that were out front. So that should stop any water from coming through. It's supposed to anyhow. Now next time I have the seam filler out, I'll do a little bit in here to make that look prettier. But I ran out for this time. So I'm pretty sure I'll have the seam filler out again. Anyway, there you go. That's all for today. And yeah, I got to do some seam filler up in there. I'll get back at it again tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but it sure is raining here. Maybe I'll look out the door and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it sure is raining here. Now it goes from winter to rainstorm like this, and then it'll be back to winter tonight because it's going to be an instant freeze, they say. See what happens. I know it's pretty slippy getting up the driveway, but it's a sheet of ice over there. Maybe this rainstorm will make the sheet of ice go mostly away. See what happens. Yeah, back to the task at hand. So I did that, what do you call that stuff? That's seam filler on this right here. Then there's a dent here. There's a dent here. This poor old door. And a dent there. And a dent there. And a little dent there. You sort of run your hand across it, you can feel them. One right here. One right there. One right there. I don't know, am I keeping up the camera? This dent comes all the way down here. I don't know how that would happen, but I guess that happens. Little pock there, like a shopping cart mark. That'd be another shopping cart mark. Dent here. Looks like somebody was playing baseball up against it, hey? Anyway, I'll get a load of that stuff made and fill in those dents. What else do I have to do over here? I'm actually sort of caught up here. This has got the seam filler on here and on here. Same over there. And I'm not gonna put any more body fill over there because there's a cowling goes over the top of this, and that'll be fine. That'll work just fine. So I'm gonna put a coat of black paint on here. Clean this up. Put a coat of black paint. And then I've got to do seam filler in that. Where is it over there? That where the fender joins down here. I've got to do seam filler in there, and a bit of seam filler right there, where I've got that mending up around the what do we call that? Looks like I need to do a little bit of welding right there, and another spot somewhere else that I saw up there, just to clean that up a bit. But mostly the frame of the window is in pretty good shape. This is just going to be cleaned up, and I'm going to paint it. I'm going to paint everything in here black, right to the top of the tub, right up to there, sort of thing. And then I'll decide whether I paint the rest of it black in there or not. It doesn't really matter because it's all covered with carpet and stuff, but it'll make a nice even coat of everything on there. Anyway, there we go. The black paint is easy and good because it's like rust paint, and you just paint it over the rust bits and clean it up a bit and paint over rust. There's this bracket here, I forget what that's for, something to hold the front end together, the radio holder in there. So I think I'll just take that bracket out and clean it up and paint it. The heating system, I'm just going to clean that up and let it be. And then carry on. Yeah, there we are. I just put a coat of black all the way across in there. Needs another coat in there some. And then I finished, like I painted all the tub black just to get a, even color on it. I'll decide later if I want to put green on top of that. I don't know yet. I think black would be all right because it just gets covered all with carpet, and the carpeting is black. So there you go. Missed a little spot right there, hey? And I missed a little spot right there. So, but now this thing here still needs some seam filler. And then I got to do seam filler along here. But for now, I'll do body fill on that door. Whoops, over there. I'll do body fill on that door, and then fill in these dents with normal body fill. And then that'll get this off the table for me. Yeah, so I decided I'd give it a full coat of black all the way on the inside here, just to, well, freshen it up a bit. And there's some places where, this paint was pretty faded and stuff like that, and a little bit of rust showing through. You might as well just cover it up with rust paint, and that'll be good. So, looks all right there now. And the door is coming along pretty good. Like there was a dent here, gone. Dent there was gone. That dent that came right down through here is gone. the repair work that I did down here. You can't tell. And so it's looking pretty good. That needs another sanding, and we're done with that. So Friday now today, so that's pretty well it for this week. So we'll hope you enjoyed it. Well, I did get this seam filled down in here too, and I seam filled that repair that I put on there. Yeah, so Friday. So see you next week. Have fun.